So, herzlich willkommen meine Freunde, wieder zurück zu Starfield. Wir haben die... Oh. Das habe ich gar nicht gesehen, Leute. Oh. Warte mal. Sind zwei?
You might want to stow some of that. Just a suggestion.
Ja, ich schleppe sehr viel, ich weiß. Tauregelwiderstand, ja, das kommt ja. Okay. Wir werden wieder ein paar Sachen. Was ist das? Chunks, okay.
I've got my eye on you.
Ja, ich bin befördert, Alter. Du musst auf mich hören. Schauen wir nur kurz, was, ob er noch was sagen will. Hoppala. Ob Dalton was sagt. Wenn nicht, dann werden wir gleich einmal mit der nächsten Fraktion Missionen starten.
With Infinity joining the foe,
Okay.
we have a lot of work ahead of us.
Denn wir werden jetzt... Das nur witzig. Augenzeuge machen. Ich glaube, da geht es um die... Wenn es mich nicht täuscht. Ja, Hadrian. Mit die Aliens.
Ryujin certainly spared no expense in their executive.
Ah. Wenn nicht zu schnell rennen. Okay, zu schnell. Aber was, das interessiert mich nicht. Ich habe sicher irgendwas. Hilfe. Unterdrückt? Nein. Bewegungstempo. Halt Infektion. Das sind sehr gute Sachen. Das brauchen wir jetzt hier auch. Nein. Ah. Das ist 10. Nein. Jetzt bin ich mal voll. Ja gut. Da muss ich durchrennen. Hilft nicht. Ist auch egal. Let's go. Wir müssen nur ins Schiff und die Sachen loswerden. Hallo?
Back off. That's an order, not a suggestion.
Ja, kippe ich irgendwann mal um. Das möchte ich mal testen. Wieso blute ich? Verbrennungen schwer, Prognose Ausrufezeichen, Blasen. Nachher verursachen weniger Schaden, Bluten, Spunten. Okay. Interessant. Hey, let's go. Jetzt. Hoppala.
Love the smell of getting back into the harness.
So. Inventar, Frachtraum. Inventar. Warum das ist, weiß ich nicht. Alle Ressourcen lagern. Kann nicht mehr gelagert werden, okay. Es wird, glaube ich, Zeit für ein größeres Schiff.
What's next on the agenda?
Ich habe keine Ahnung.
Saving the world? Saving the galaxy?
Inventar. Da tun wir mal vielleicht. Ha! Haltet im Schlag. Ah, nein, das war jetzt. Ist der besser gewesen wäre? Das hat überhaupt nicht geklappt. Tu jetzt einmal bei. Reicht jetzt? Okay. Ah.
Hey, it's my personal savior.
Ja.
Thanks again for the assist.
Wir schauen mal wegen Schiff. Das ist. Haben sie ein Schiff? Eigentlich. Ich brauche nur einen Frachtraum. Ich brauche nur einen Frachtraum. Hey.
Got anything you need to
Ich
offload?
würde gerne mal
Trade
Schiff
authorities
sehen.
always buy. Okay, no problem.
Okay, no problem. Na, das ist mir egal. Hinzufügen. Struktur, Waffenstation, Fracht. Okay. Passt.
Nothing for us to do.
Okay. Perfekt. Komm, Sammy. So, wir sind jetzt hier. Inventar. Alles mal rein einlagen. Das ist mal drin. Oh Gott, ich habe nur. Das lasse ich denen. Das lasse ich. Was habe ich da alles mitgenommen? Okay, und jetzt. Lass mal da. Rucksäcke. Nein, das ist nicht. Da. Das ist einfach nur ein Rucksack. Das ist einfach ein Boostbag. Interessant. Nein, weiß ich noch nicht. Ich schau weiter. Bin noch unzufrieden. Helmtarnung. Tarnanzug. Okay. Na, also jetzt habe ich. Okay. Das ist aber. Warte mal. Das nehmen wir doch mit. Für alle Fälle. Aber wenn ich irgendwie. Nein, da Waffen, das brauchen wir jetzt. Amber möchte ich mal testen. Eon, lass mal da. Wollte ich testen. Lass mal da. Habe ich da. Kurzer Schalldämpfer. Coachman. Wir haben. Das ist schlechter. Okay, Präzision ist aber dafür besser. Aber Feuerrate, Distanz, Masse geht drauf. Ach, das lassen wir da. Was ist das? Auto-Need bist du. Brauchen wir aber nicht. Da mal die gleiche irgendwo. Wer ist die Grendelge? Da. Grendelgewehr. Da ist Feuerrate mehr, aber. Okay. Lassen wir die da. Lassen wir die da. Möchte mal ausprobieren. Amber möchte ausprobieren. Lass mal da. Oder? Entermesser, oder? Was ist besser? Anstachel für Ziel mit voller doppelten Schaden. Verkrüppeln für den Ziel. Okay, aufreißen. Verursacht beim Ziel zufälligen Blut. Titan fertig. Lass mal da. Mit einem Entermesser. Die ist besser. Distanz ist halt weniger. Okay. %, Hitman, 15% Schaden beim Zielen generell. Schnell, 25 kurzer Lauf, Reflexfuß. Da ist generell Ziel. Ja, was hast du denn da mal da? Was ist mal da? Grendel. Regulator. Okay. Ja, ich bin zufrieden dabei. Jetzt fliegen wir schnell zu ihr. Dass man gleich vorangeht. Jetzt mal ein bisschen rumgestöbert. Aber jetzt. Da ist sie. Oh, perfekt.
Vous cherchez quelque chose?
Okay, meine Übersetzer funktioniert nicht. Hey. Let's
The
go.
workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it.
Ja, passt.
Listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier.
Ja.
So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there.
Du bist schwanger.
My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place.
Okay.
I am a clone.
Was?
Of a man named Francois Sanon.
François?
One-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War. Former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus. Woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin. A title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians.
God.
Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come. I'm the last. A few of my siblings, they passed when we were young. Training accidents and the like. But most of the rest were deployed to the front lines during the Colony War, and they never came back. Not a day goes by where I don't think about what the world would look like with them still in it.
Ja, das möchte ich auch wissen.
A non-trivial amount of gene editing. Clone, honestly, isn't even really the right term for our relationship, thanks to the amount of donor material that was required to bring me into this world. He and I are different on more than a few levels, but there's no denying the fact we're inextricably linked.
Interessant.
He would have happily told you he was one of the greats. Ultimately, though, it didn't matter. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death, on both sides.
Ja, okay.
Freestar Collective and UC. Military and civilians. And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there.
Sehr gut, danke.
I just wanted you to be forewarned.
Okay.
He had his men open fire on civilian ships during the Battle of
Wow.
Cheyenne. A battle that he ultimately ended up losing anyway, devastating the UC fleet and bringing the Colony War to an ugly end for the UC.
Schon miese Kiste.
He's also the one who ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport during their outbreak, condemning countless lives. Both sides agreed the settled systems would be better without him.
Glaube ich langsam auch.
My areas of expertise are pretty specific, but messed up families are up there. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle of this pretty fast. Or if you've got any last-minute business to attend to, now might be a good time. No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out here. That's actually a souvenir from my time on Mars.
Ah.
The Red Devils unit I was a part of. They were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. Folks used to adversity. The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything. The human eye included. Where the name Red Devils came from in the first place. It became an unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils had to do a stint in the mines before they could join up. The Devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, I signed up. And the eyes were my parting gift.
Wow. Then let's go.
Then I guess it's just a matter of...
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet chambers.
Sounds like our cue. Something you still want?
Eigentlich, was bereden.
I mean, we never spent a lot of time together. He was too busy being fleet admiral to deal with kids. I was raised by a pair of guardians instead. Until his defeat during the Colony War, though, he was known as an extremely effective commander. Savvy. Perceptive. That mind opened a lot of doors for him. And for me too. But Victus, for all his ability, was heartless. Ruthless to a fault. In the end, that's what cost him his life.
Interessant.
Eye strain from the amount of reading I've got on the horizon if we succeed. The Terrormorph project never went anywhere. It couldn't. They're deadly creatures, but they aren't xenoweapons.
Okay.
The cabinet not opening the archives is probably a bigger risk than them handing over the files. That data itself isn't dangerous, which probably wouldn't be a bad point for us to bring up, should the opportunity arise.
Let's go. Also noch.
Well, thinking about it more, I suspect there'd be value in sharing the fact that the Terrormorph project was, well, a failure. There's no need to be afraid of this data being weaponized.
Okay, boss.
Knowing that should calm some of the cabinet's fears and make it easier for us to dispel any suspicions the other factions might have about our intentions.
Passt.
All right.
Let's go. Sammy, kommst du?
Every time I get near mast, I think they're gonna arrest me. There's a code there. Get him, boys.
Wir gehen schon mal vor. Hadria. Hadria.
Not considering backing out now, are you? Come on.
So.
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this
No
information.
problemo, amigo. Hadrian hat deutlich mal das Ding angegangen. Ich habe nur mal für mit Wertschöpfung kann ich nicht den Treibstoff immer bezahlen.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terrormorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
Wir wissen noch nicht, womit wir es zu tun haben. Für ein fundiertes Schwert brauchen wir mehr Daten. Wir brauchen die Daten aus Norwich, um eine plötzliche Terror zu verhindern. Ich bin nur hin von meiner Hand bei anderen ziehen.
That's quite the leap, Captain. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, Terrormorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask how many deaths the Cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this Terrormorph seem at all alarming to you?
Just taking her word for it as well, then.
So it would seem. So then, Captain, Given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position, would you grant the request made to open the archives?
Ja, sicher.
And that data may be the key to stopping untold suffering. Greater good is calling. You gotta pick up.
That? I hadn't thought of that, Captain.
An excellent point indeed. The other powers would likely be much more inclined to work with us knowing that. Chief Diplomat.
That point is a good one. Very well, you have my agreement.
Ja,
the galaxy is lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to...
Scheiße.
What's that?
Attention. An incident has occurred. Facility lockdown engaged.
What the?
Incident? Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
There's been an attack at the spaceport. Terrormorphs.
Nein.
Terrormorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
Only, we need to move.
There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Jawohl.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming, and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, ma'am. Captain, I'm right behind you. Let's get down there.
How the hell do Terrormorphs get to us?
Let's go. Jetzt.
You! The EM rifle, grab it!
That's it.
Now!
Now hit him with everything you got. We're trying to...
EM-Waffe.
Help you!
Please! I can't stop!
Help me.
It'll take more than that.
Okay.
Thank you for what you did. We didn't want to hurt them.
The way those people were acting, I've seen this before. They were under the Terrormorphs' influence, weren't they?
Super.
I don't know. They were down at the port and they just started screaming. We tried to restrain them, get them on the train to get them out of harm's way, but some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just started firing on us. People we knew. They went berserk.
Pheromonic projection. Some Terrormorphs, they can induce this fog. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet. You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire, and keep that EM weapon at the ready. Let's do it.
Nat's unlocked. Please, do what you can to help them.
Let's go. Raumhafen Raumhafen. Jetzt werden wir es fertig machen. Den Terrormorph und die Puppets. Hey.
Please, just leave me alone. You're not a bottle of antiseptic, then I don't need you.
An evacuation order has been
Let's
issued
go.
for the spaceport district. All citizens are required to proceed to the nearest shelter.
You might back up. Don't just stand there.
Okay. Warte mal. Ah, jetzt kann ich den kurz.
Right?
Wow. Hey.
Experts?
Yeah.
We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad, but we're barely holding our perimeter.
Mehr?
They said you've done this before. Well, got one fire team to spare and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over any more of my men. Put those things down and do it fast. We'll hold them as best we can.
Okay, basta.
Heard you might be looking for some backup. You say the word, we're out there on your 6.
Basta.
You two have any experience with Terrormorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here. But we know how to handle pressure.
Sehr gut.
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a firefight. Might make you more liability than asset.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about us.
Okay.
We're not afraid. But we'll stay here and hold the line if that's what you want. You're the experts. Roger that. We're on you. Be prepared.
Der Lichtbogen ist echt geil.
It's everywhere.
They're going to eat you
All wrapped up. We should go tell the sergeant what happened.
I wonder what Jacob would think of a crow helping to save New Atlantis. Damn if I'm not proud of it, though.
Wieso haben sie nicht mit Fäusten angegriffen? Ah.
Thank the heavens you're back in one piece. Though I guess our people weren't so lucky.
Ja.
The few protecting the many.
And it would have been plenty more if it hadn't been for the two of you. The city owes you both a debt after this.
We were just in the right place at the right time. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terrormorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
Okay. Drei Terrormorphs. Das ist nicht normal.
Attention. The spaceport has been secured. Safety precautions remain in place. Please wait for the all crew signal before.
Schade finde ich mal.
They said you all saved the city down there. Thank you.
Ja. Und zwei haben leider ihr Leben gelassen.
They said you're free to come and go.
That's a relief to hear. Thank you.
Hi.
Let your people all know how much we owe them today.
Yes, ma'am.
My officers were
there you
unprepared
are.
for what happened at the spaceport.
I believe we have some things
I intend
we
to
should
correct
discuss.
Those creatures killed UC citizens. They're not killing anymore.
Ja.
Captain, Hadrian, it would appear that the Cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today, as well as an apology. Your concerns about the Terrormorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the Cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the Terrormorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these
Ja, nicht
attacks.
schlecht. So soll es
But to
sein.
accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the Cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major.
Wow.
As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball.
Ja.
Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The Cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that
so klar.
representative.
Okay.
The Cabinet wants progress, and wants it quickly. You're already far more familiar with the situation than any diplomat would be.
Okay.
There's also no diplomat alive that can claim they helped keep a cadre of Terrormorphs off the embassy doorsteps. The Cabinet was unanimous. They want you.
Okay.
We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us?
Yeah.
It has its perks. Only citizens can purchase property in the city. We also pay reduced prices on most goods and services across the UC. There's also a credit disbursement when you first join. Help get you on your feet. But above all, you'd become a dedicated part of the greatest faction in the galaxy. If you're willing to help us, we can open that door. I'm glad to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. You're dismissed.
You've got the Cabinet's full backing to prevent more attacks.
I'm gonna go check in with Chief Engineer Kulkarni. Start getting a plan together for that data.
I'll coordinate putting the data to good use with the cabinet. We'll be ready to move as soon as you've got it.
So, meine Freunde.
Vanguard Captain. You... Yes, sir. I'll make sure they get what they require.